J.I. Halsell, our NFL front office insider, is with us, and not a moment too soon to help us sort out this breaking news that the Redskins are about to take a $36 million salary cap haircut because of what they did in 2010. J.I., you ready?
Yep.
All right, sort this out.
Here we go. All right, one of the things that, particularly during the uncapped year that I had really kind of talked to on ESPN980 actually was the Redskins leveraging the uncapped year to clean up their books. And while that practically made sense, one of the risks that I mentioned that you run is that you could, once a new CBA came into place, would teams get penalized for leveraging the uncapped year. And here we are today talking about the Redskins and Cowboys getting penalized for leveraging the uncapped year.
Hold on. Before you get too far down the road, let me just ask this question. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being as shocked as if you woke up with your head sewn to the carpet, a la Clark Griswold in Christmas Vacation, 1 being not surprised at all, where does this news rank to you today?
Definitely surprising, but I think when you put it in context...
Give me a number. Come on, J.I. 1 to 10. 1 to 10.
Initially, probably a 9.
Wow.
Now, probably about a 7.
Okay. All right.
And it's because it's kind of been put into context as I've talked to people around the league, and that when you think about this past week, we didn't know what the salary cap was going to be here in 2012. And quite honestly, there was a negotiation going on between the league and the union as to what the cap should be. From a league perspective, the CBA that was negotiated based upon the calculations said that the salary cap should be anywhere from 115 to 117. Now, the union, obviously, that would not look good if you negotiated a collective bargaining agreement that resulted in the cap going down in the second year of the agreement. So there was a negotiation that went on. So from a league perspective, it's okay. Well, we initially, back in 2010, in the uncapped year, we didn't really approve of what the Cowboys and Redskins did in leveraging the uncapped year and going against the spirit of the collective bargaining agreement. But we cannot unilaterally by ourselves impose a penalty on them. We need for you guys to agree, because if we penalize the Cowboys and Redskins by ourselves, we'll definitely get a grievance from you guys, because you'll say that we're taking money from your constituents.
Okay, I get it. So the union is cool with this.
But here's why. Again, keeping in mind that if the salary cap was slated to come in lower than what it was last year, and now we'll go ahead and get the salary cap to $120.6 million, and you agree to allow us to penalize the Cowboys and Redskins because we weren't happy with them, and then we'll take that penalty and redistribute it to the other teams, whereby the cap is then a little bit more than the 120.6 that we set. It now, It gives the union a reason to agree, because now you're not taking money away from your constituents, you're just redistributing it to the other organizations in the league.
So when the Redskins were talking about Peyton Manning, they had to know that this was in the works. They probably didn't have the money to go get him, right?
Well, here's kind of the thing. Keeping in mind that while $36 million is a lot of money, they have only $83 million on the books in 2013. So in theory, you could take some of it this year and take your $30 million worth of cap space and maybe reduce it to $25 million, and take the other $30 million and put it in 2013, whereby you'll have a team salary in that amount in that year of $110 million, and against what you would think would be an increased salary cap, so that you just take it more so
next year than this year. Yeah, if you're going for that. Now, when this was going on and when they were negotiating the new deal, should the Redskins and Cowboys have anticipated that this might happen and asked to be grandfathered in?
Well, I think as the Cowboys and Redskins, you know that this is a possibility. I don't know if you think that a year later, you would be getting penalized for it. It seems
didn't anticipate it.
The timing of it is definitely bad to a certain extent, because it's the night before free agency is about to start. But I think sometimes when you think creatively, sometimes you're a little too smart to the liking of those who run the league. And the one question I asked was, well, if the league wasn't on board with what the Redskins and Cowboys were doing,
why didn't they stop?
Why don't you just disapprove the contract
that
you created to leverage the uncapped year, and they didn't have anything. The league didn't have anything to disapprove the contracts on. Those contracts, the way they were structured, were perfectly within the rules of the collective bargaining agreement.
At the time.
At the time.
Yeah. Do you think
but they still skirted around the spirit of the rules.
Do you think the Redskins knew they were going to get hit with this prior to the deal for RG3?
No, and I don't know if...
Did they have an idea that maybe?
I think you always had whether it was back when you redid D. Hall and Hainsworth to this day, that you had to have some sort of in the back of your mind thought that perhaps we could get slapped on the wrist for this. I don't know if they expected for it to be today, again,
how do you?
Because you can split it over the
right.
next 2 years, I think it minimizes the impact, and they can still go out there in free agency and get pieces.
How do you think they're going to split it? If you just had a guess.
Well, based upon kind of what I just said with the $83 million in team salary in 2013, I think you still want to be able to have cap space here in 2012 to go out and get guys. So I think you just put the majority of it in 2013 under the assumption of an increased salary cap in 2013, so that that $110 million, roughly $110 million team salary is against a cap of, say, 125 or what have you.
Paying one credit card with another. What do you make of this Andrew Brandt report that this was the two contracts, the $21 million they gave to Albert Hainsworth and the $15 million that they gave to D'Angelo Hall?
Oh, that's what I was alluding to just now in terms of if the league did not like what the Redskins were doing with those two contracts, D. Hall and Albert Hainsworth, then why approve the deal?
Right.
And again, it was because they didn't have anything to disapprove the contracts on, because they were perfectly fine within the rules.
Yeah,
of the collective bargaining
at that time.
But, this was but when you now put that backdrop under the negotiation of a salary cap for 2012, this was the league's opportunity to go out and get these two teams.
Wow. Do you think someone's job is in jeopardy out there, Redskin Park, in the cap department?
I don't think so, because I think that's what Dan Snyder pays Eric Schaefer and Bruce Allen to do, is to think creatively to get this team under the cap and get them out of the cap situation they had been. Again, because this can be spread out over 2 years, it's not putting a significant dent in their roster building plans for this year or next year. So I think those guys are fine.
Just a little bit too creative, though. All in all,
and not necessarily, and not where Dan Snyder would be offended, but you apparently offended the league office.
Yeah, right. You pissed off the wrong guy is what it comes down to.
Right.
All right, thank you, J.I.
You got it.
J.I. Halsell, our NFL front office insider.